You're just in time. I'm your host, Mr. Lobo. Welcome to a special presentation about collectible toys and the people who love them. It's a world of fun and imagination and great memories for kids and kids at heart like myself. And now, let's look at some trivia from some of our leading toy experts.
My name is Jeremy Sazaki and I'm an appraiser for ToyWorth.com. ToyWorth.com's mission is to provide information for toy collectors.
You can make them fly or jump or crash your wall. Superhero action figures over 7 inches tall.
Each sold separately.
Superman, Batman, Incredible Hulk. You can make them do their thing. Even make Spider-Man slide down a string. Lots of action for one and all. Action figures over 7 inches tall.
These superhero action figures each sold separately. Batman, Superman, Incredible Hulk, and Spider-Man, each sold separately by Mego.
It's kind of a sad and funny story about licensing and toys. In 1976, George Lucas went looking for somebody to produce the action figures for the Star Wars movie. And one of the big players in the industry was Mego. Now, Mego had already been very successful. They made the world's greatest superheroes line, and also they created the Star Trek figures, and they used an 8-inch standard body. That became very popular for the time. What they did was they had these bodies here. They just would interchange the heads, so it was very cost effective for the company, and obviously the kids loved them. So Lucas went to Mego and said, hey, will you make our figures for us? And after some deliberation, it turns out Mego decided that, well, we don't want to just jump all over this and spend all our money on every flash in the pan science fiction movie that comes out. So kind of funny, they ended up going with Kenner, and later Mego sees how popular the Kenner products were, and the Star Wars figures were so popular that they decided, well, now that we missed the boat on that one, quietly we're going to go ahead and try and license every science fiction movie that comes out afterwards. So they went after Buck Rogers, they did Moonraker, and as you've seen those figures, very well made. But unfortunately, it was too late. They missed the boat on the Kenner products, or what Kenner had made a lot of money on, and they ended up going bankrupt in 1983.
Luke Skywalker handles his saber well, Ben Kenobi. You should know, Yoda. Yes, I've been the Jedi Master for 800 years.
Yoda and other action figures each sold separately.
Beep, 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 beep. It's okay, R2-D2. I've got my laser pistol. Hold it, Luke. They're afraid of your snake, Yoda. You have nothing to fear. The Force is all around us.
Yoda and other action figures each sold separately. From Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back collection. From Kenner.
Hello again. I am here in the Hall of Justice, surrounded by the cosmic legends of the universe. You've got good guys, bad guys, and a really good guy, Dirk Grable, who's going to talk about his collection of superhero toys.
Wow, Dirk, this is amazing. I'm seeing superheroes, supervillains, monsters, vehicles, crazy weapons, and they're all sort of, a lot from comic books, and mainly DC comic books. Do you want to talk about what the DC universe is?
The DC universe is kind of like the big two in comic books is Marvel and DC. DC Comics is Superman, Spider-Man, more recently Green Lantern, The Flash, Wonder Woman. That's kind of what I've been into my whole life. I'm a kid of the 70s, so I grew up watching the Super Friends. That was my all-time favorite.
Absolutely.
Was the Super Friends, so that was my first taste from being a really, really small kid. And from then, it's just snowballed. I want to say I was maybe 7, 8 years old, and I had mono, and I was at home, and my mom went to the pharmacy to get my medication. She came back with a stack of comics, and whatever caught her eye, they were all DC Comics. And so anytime anybody makes fun of me, I blame my mom, because she was the one. I still have those books, and they're beat up quite a bit because I've read them a zillion times. But that was just my first taste of it, and I just never grew out of it.
What is the fascination with Superman?
You know, I just think that Superman is kind of the best in all of us and what we as a people can do. Everybody seems to have their human failings and their insecurities, and Superman kind of gives you that hope that you can get over that. And the other thing that I think is a big thing is that Superman is kind of the ultimate immigrant, because he comes from a completely different planet and can show that he can do kind of that truth, justice, in the American way. He can do it. Anybody can do it. You know, it's kind of a real true role model. And these days, role models are really hard to find, especially in real people. You know, I've always been as a kid, I kind of looked up to fictional characters more than real life people. You know, but and he's always been one of my favorites. Also, you know, him and Batman and the rest of them.
Did you read the comics and then reenact what you read in the comics and the toys, or did you make up your own adventures?
I used to always really make up my own stuff. I would always read the comics, and of course back then there weren't too many toys that were made from the comics. You know, you almost kind of had to make your own. You know, but ever since, you know, my folks just kind of bought me stuff. I mean, I was a spoiled kid. I'll admit it, but I was still a good kid. But they bought me a lot of stuff, and I'd say, I don't know, a fairly good percentage of these toys are saved. I mean, I've had these since I was a little kid.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Some people, you know, they beat them up and, you know, lose them in the sandbox and they never find them again. And of course now they're paying a premium to buy them back. But a lot of these I've kept. I've always was kind of that weird little kid that kind of kept this stuff nice and and neat and organized and stuff like that.
We'll be back with more of our conversation with Dirk. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Coming from the farthest reaches of the universe to challenge the worst villains on Earth are the most powerful heroes ever in the battle of the superpowers collection. Hark! Batman being called to stop a dastardly deed?
Got you, Joker. Don't laugh yet. Release the wall. It's a trap. Activate Batarang. Trouble, Batman? Not my Batmobile. Unleash Phase 2.
Is this the end of our heroes in the Batmobile? You decide.
Batmobile and Superpowers action figures all sold separately.